It's been years since I've had an original NES system. Just recently I went and bought one from a local video game shop for about $50.
I had a lot more games than this as a kid, but they've gotten lost over the years, and these are all I have left. I've also bought more games to play on the NES just to get a taste of different titles I either never got to play or just plain not heard of until now.
Seeing that I have a new computer and some decent editing software, I thought I'd throw my hat into the ring and join the community of internet reviewers. And what's the little hook I have going for my show? It's summer and I have free time. Yes, I have lost a good amount of video games over my life, but lucky for me, I still have a few left over that I remember dearly from my childhood. Guess which one works better than all the rest?
Sesame Street 1, 2, 3. Yes, as my luck would have it, this little gem survived being in cold storage for 15 years at the back of my closet in a cardboard box full of cobwebs and dust. This is a children's learning game that teaches the player, that's you, how to identify shapes, colors, and do basic math skills, featuring the all-star cast of Sesame Street icons Ernie and Grover, and this little alien dude, and this bunny.
I never asked for this game as a kid. I just came home one day and it was just there. It was strange enough that I had this game, but for some reason I have two copies. This one has a sticker on the back. Video Attractions Inc., Cornelia, Georgia, item 4416. Please rewind.
I guess someone rented it from Video Attractions Inc. in Cornelia, Georgia, and decided to keep it, and it got bartered all the way to my house.
So if Video Attractions Inc. in Cornelia, Georgia is still operational and you're missing a copy of Sesame Street 123 labeled 4416, you can stop looking for it. It's at my house. But don't expect me to pay the late fee, and I'll try my best to rewind it if I can.
Okay, let's try out Ernie's Magic Shapes. Basically, the first couple of games are introductory, and they start getting more challenging as you go on. Well, challenging for kids ages 3 to 6. You start with matching shapes, matching colors, and then match the right shape and color, and then you have to make a wheelbarrow. That wheelbarrow really gets you, I kid you not. So, let's take a look at the first game, Presto Shape-O. But first, let's look at the title screen. For some strange reason, the selector only moves in one direction no matter what direction you push. If you accidentally pass up the game you want, you have to go all the way back around to get back to where you want to. There is no up or down in Sesame Street 1, 2, 3. There is only a single path. Now, back to the game. In Presto Shape-O, you match the right shapes. Whatever shape you see floating above Ernie's head, that's the shape you need to pick in order to advance to the next shape. Video Game Pro Tip! To help you better pick the right shape you need to advance, just look very closely at the shape above Ernie and mentally compare it to the shape above the hat. If you are having trouble matching the shape, get a pen and a piece of paper and sketch the shape. Place the paper next to the selected shape. If they look similar, then that is the correct shape. If not, then select another shape. The right one is there. You just need to be patient and keep looking until you find it. So, if you pick the right shape, Ernie uses the power of NES 8-bit sparkles, a fantastical fanfare will grace your ears, and the bunny will approve of your good effort. Hooray, says the bunny! But if you are wrong and you select the incorrect shape, then there is no magic, no mystical fanfare, and the bunny will disapprove. You do not want the bunny to disapprove. Once you guess all the shapes correctly in every happenstance, you will get rewarded with a quick cut back to the title screen. Let's see what the color game has to offer. In this game, you have to match colors. Even if you match the right shape, the approval bunny will not approve unless the color matches as well. That's it for this one. Match the color, feel the love, get booted back to the menu screen. The last couple of games are pretty much all the same. You have to create an object from shapes. What kind of object, you ask? Well, there's a person, a wheelbarrow, a birdie, this, and then there's this thing. I honestly don't know what this is. This is just a bunch of pieces stacked up on top of each other. It's like someone spilled the blocks on the floor and they landed that way and they thought it was good. Let's see if the approval bunny approves of this shape. I thought so. Well, I think we've learned enough about colors, shapes, and how to pick them together, so let's go see what Grover has in store for us. Here's Astro Grover! There's Grover, there's his spaceship, and there's a zip. Yes, that thing is called a zip. I don't know why. I don't make the games, I just play them. Speaking of playing the games, let's look into Astro Grover. Astro Grover contains games based on the two math functions addition and subtraction, and also teaches the concept of counting. Now that that little description is out of the way, let's jump into How Many Zips. In How Many Zips, you have to correctly guess how many zips are on the screen. If you guess correctly, the moon will approve of your choice. The zips go back into the ship, and a small section of the suburb will appear as a reward. But if you choose incorrectly, the suburb remains hidden. The zips cannot go back into their ship, and the moon will disapprove. You do not want the moon to disapprove. There is a slight difference in this game than in the Ernie game. If you are having trouble correctly guessing the right number, Grover will appear and will aid you in finding the right number. Isn't that just so nice of Grover? Ernie wasn't any help at all. He just stood there and let his bunny mock you incessantly. As I said before, when you correctly guess the number of zips, a piece of the suburbs will be unlocked for you to see. Guess the first one right, you get the garage. The second one, one half of the house. Thirdly, the other side of the house. Now, if there's one thing I remember most when I played this game as a kid, it was this next part. The first 3 tries were very rewarding. You always got big chunks of property with every guess. What happens on the 4th try? You get gypped! Look at that! After all my hard work of counting zips, all I got was that stupid doghouse? Why? You know what that is? Baloney! That is very frustrating. But there is a saving grace. What happens when you guess the next number? Do you get just the window or just the roof? To my surprise, you get the whole dang house. Look at that. That's 10 times better than that little doghouse. I don't even have a dog, so what do I need that? Here's another difference between the games. Remember how at the end of any of the Ernie games, you went back to the screen? Well, all of your hard work pays off in this game because once you light up the entire suburb, you get rewarded with a little dance by Astro Grover himself. As a matter of fact, I can hear him coming right now. Beam That Number is a pretty cool looking game. Basically, you have a rocket ship to the right. It tells you how many zips you need on board, and you have to use a satellite to guess the right number. Grover gives out the disapprovals on this one. Once you've reached the top, you get that amazing completion tune, and you're back to the title screen. And as for the zips that are left floating in the sky, well, the zips don't have our rule of no one gets left behind, because they just plain get left behind. Maybe they can go hang out with E.T. and have a self-help group about how they got left behind. Poor little fellas. Now, this game is for the very brainy children aged 3 to 6. Adding countdown. The zips fly up on the screen, you have to count them, and add them up to get the correct answer. Pretty confusing, isn't it, Moon? It's the same drill as before, but with a lot more work. Guess everything right, unlock the doghouse, the garage, but instead of Grover showing up to dance, you get warp speed! As for the rest of the games, they're more of the same, just rehashes of the other scenarios with subtraction. No need to go into detail. For an NES game, this one is pretty good looking. Ernie looks like Ernie, Grover looks like Grover, and all the sound effects and music are very good for an NES game. Knowing how some companies treated their properties in the past, the game should have looked something like this.
So, Sesame Street 1, 2, 3. Should you have this game? Well, if you want a complete NES collection, then yes, that's probably the only reason you want to have this game. Otherwise, probably not. If anything, when you and your buddies have a drinking night, you could pop this baby in and use it as a home sobriety test.
Cut me some slack, Grover. Oh.
Well, that's Sesame Street 1, 2, 3. A game you didn't know about, forgot you knew about, or knew about it and didn't tell anybody you knew about it. Thank you for spending your free time watching a video I made in my free time. Now go away.
This show has been brought to you by the letter G and the number 1.